it up. And this Blink Stalker opener totally predicted it correctly. Does seem to be his favorite, especially on a map like Romanticide.
But so far, this game, especially with the Banshee opening, the Cloak Banshee, oh no. If they're spotted by those Stalkers, which, oh my god, they didn't chase them down. This could turn gnarly very quickly.
Yeah, this is not usually what Protoss players are expecting to be up against. You know, so many Terrans are doing a 1-1-1, or maybe like a, into factory, then additional barracks. To go into an actual Banshee 1-1-1, that is a bit unorthodox. The Banshee is coming into the main right now, nothing to defend at all. The Observer, of course, going across the map. Now, Banshee might be available back at home, and I think it does actually have some time to use its cloak before the Observer gets here. There you go. But the tank wasn't in position, was what I was going to mention. A second tank pops out, is going to help. The Marines are being taken out, but the Observer's still not here.
I actually like this for Milkicow so far. The third Nexus also hasn't started yet. Maxpax is totally getting taken by surprise here by this Banshee build, and Milkicow, maybe he knew some tricks about Maxpax as well, that he can be a little predictable when it comes down to his choice of strategies on maps. That being said, this is still a super scary amount of Stalkers.
Yeah, exactly. I think a great way to put it is that, to your credit, yeah, you're right, but it's the volatility of Maxpax has turned into just being lethal, right? Is lethality, I guess. Is that the right way to say it? So Milkicow is a worker lead right now. As you pointed out, that third Nexus was quite late, and he should be okay against the Stalkers to actually kind of push out soon. He's getting his third CC, he's getting his barracks. I guess his barracks production was a little bit delayed, but seems to be all right.
Yeah, like all things considered, I think Milkicow's probably entered this game far better than a lot of people would have thought. And here, kind of foresees the Observer. Doesn't see it necessarily, but does get away with his Banshee. Has to be careful though, because Maxpax is on the hunt, but multiple fights going down at the same time here. Maxpax is aware of everything that's going on though, because that is a nicely placed Observer.
It was a bit late to help against the Banshee, but it is making up for it with intel. Lots of weak Marines, they're a bit tempting. So Maxpax does take the Scuffle for a little while also chasing down this Banshee to top right that's still good, as well as continuing his Warp Prism harassment. 4 Stalkers one-shotting STVs means that if you don't take this seriously, you can actually, the Protoss can get like 7-8 STV kills. We've seen Parting do it after all. Milkicow is about ready for his first real push. A Maxpax, he's got shield batteries, he's got a Colossus, just 2. Okay, he's gonna go for a third one. And they're gonna have their upgrades finished as well, so Milkicow not gonna find a lot of success with this, especially as he heads over to the third, not the fourth.
Turrets are in play for Milkicow, just showing how defensive he's willing to go. And the Warp Prism does land a few Zealots over here to try and take things out. But Milkicow, he's actually got a lead on the worker count, 71 to 64 now. Terran being ahead in workers is a crazy thing to behold. And Maxpax, he hasn't really gone up in workers that much. Like, he can definitely afford to be a bit greedier with this. And I think playing against Milkicow, even though Milkicow, you could look at this and just be like, yeah, this is some standard Terran play, right? Not a lot of Terrans play like this. So it definitely, and here, coming in and sniping this 4th base, even though not really much else was happening, I mean, that's definitely a lot of damage, actually.
His roaming around, I guess, just went unscouted for Maxpax. I was worried he would commit to the third and not find anything, but finding that 4th as it was finishing was perfect. He still has a bit of an escape path over to the left side, and he is going to get out with pretty much all of his units. Maxpax, I actually wouldn't have hated necessarily if he had more vision. That's the thing. If he had more vision, I wouldn't have minded like a push out, but I think he's now become acutely aware that he doesn't have a lot of vision on the map. Nonetheless, a substantial lead here for Milkicow on the upgrades and the supply, and also just in the pacing of the game. He's already on his way to Liberator range, +2 ship weapons, and 4 times Liberators. Like, he is going to upgrade his composition significantly, and if Maxpax is still defending and responding, that's when Liberators can really become powerful, as if the Protoss doesn't stop them from sieging on their side of the map. Beautiful EMPs, take out those Archons easy peasy. Can't take on the Colossus, and that drop to the left is still being a pain. But it looks like Maxpax has finally gotten 4 bases, is looking to get that 5th. I'm just worried about these Liberators, man.
I'm worried about them too, because these Liberators, they are going to be +2, which means they'll 2-shot the Stalkers. With the Ghost, they will actually 1-shot them, given that you get rid of the shields first, and that's going to definitely bruise this army. This army, I don't know how it got here unnoticed, but Wow, just goes for the Nexus again and takes out the shield batteries as well. Forces a recall. Hey, not bad at all. And this drop finds its way to the main. By the way, I love how Milkicow is actually trading out this supply because he's doing it kind of slowly and not super obviously. Okay, I don't like how he traded out this one, but he is transitioning it all to the Liberators. But this is a very scary army of Maxpax, and it feels like this is his time that he's just saying, okay, I'm going to attack you now.
I think this is really important for Maxpax, not just to finally get to say something in this conversation that is this game, but to actually start getting on top of the Liberators. If they suddenly appear and you're defending your 4th base and you get sieged up, it's really hard to break out of that unless you also have your Tempest, which we're nowhere near close to having. So you need to be on top of the Liberators, track them as they try to come across the map, or outmaneuver them if you are going to pressure. So this is where Maxpax would love to actually find an opening. Still dealing with the harassment back at home. It's really not that big of a deal. It is actually finally turned a little bit into Maxpax controlling the flow of the game and Milkicow defending. I'm hoping he's not going to over-defend. I actually really liked his pacing and his continued movement of his army, but now it's really slowed down for Milkicow. He's just responding to Maxpax's moves.
Yeah, this is where Liberators are a lot slower, right? Like, they cannot just maneuver around. Every time he backs him off, though, with the Liberators, that's where Milkicow can be like, aha, okay, now I've got even more time. Look at this, by the way. Multiple Ghost Academies coming down. Like this, you gotta admit, this is some cool TVP that we're seeing from Milkicow. Like, if he does kind of survive this onslaught from Maxpax, he actually would be in a really cool spot.
He absolutely would, but that is the trick here, surviving the onslaught. Maxpax is trying his hardest to outmaneuver these Liberators, and once or twice is getting some wiggle room, but not a whole lot. I mean, the sheer number of Liberators is going to be kind of, it's undeniable. You can't really break through if there's going to be 12 of them. Right now it's 7. That's a little more manageable, but Maxpax still not moving on to any additional technology. He's been on 5 bases for a while. He is finally getting maxed out. I would expect to see at least some attempt to start up a Stargate, but right now it's all about outmaneuvering the Terran.
Yeah, and it is hard to do. Like, I want Milkicow to just set up a couple of Liberators at each spot kind of thing, because that's already enough of a deterrent to kind of stop the Protoss from just doing anything, but he's kind of sieging them all up in one spot, which I know then the problem is, what if the opponent just kind of leaps on you kind of thing, but I don't think Maxpax can really afford to do that.
Well, I mean, Milkicow has been... I actually think that he's got a pretty solid setup. Tank, bunker, and Liberator. This push-in seems awfully deadly. Maxpax gets EMP'd and loses a Colossus, loses a chunk of his army. Really trying to fit that square through the round hole, and it's not really working yet. Milkicow is comfortably on 5 bases yet still, and actually has additional command centers, so I might even see him sacrifice some SCVs.
That fight went way worse for Maxpax than the supply suggests, because he remaxed on a lot of Stalkers, like, pretty instantly. Oh, big Disruptor hits, but man, these armies, like, standing in the Liberation zones, these Liberators soon +3.
Those are nasty. Of course, the nastiest time is when they're at +2, but +3,
yes.
Even more damage to units that don't get 3-shot. It's a good composition, and Maxpax is still trying to go for, like, the control way of playing around it. It can be very effective. You can still control the map, take all the bases, eventually just find an opening, the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th time. But if the Terran really is playing well enough to defend, and you make another mistake like that last battle, their counterattack's going to be brutal if you don't have some type of form of anti-air that's more reliable than Stalker's. But at least we got some DTs coming in, killing the command center by the looks of it, but still not really opening up any pathways.
Milkicow is very fast to pull, and surround is PF most importantly. And now Nuke's coming out on the field as well. Maxpax, I don't know how he saw that so quickly, by the way. He was just like, yeah, red dot, oh, okay, it's not close. I guess that's how he saw it immediately. Oh, Disruptor's big blood splashes going down. Oh, this is getting to the stage where it's so hard as a Terran to try and hold all this off.
His Liberators were actually being, not really used very well, so unintentionally there's an opening. The Liberators now respond, and it looks like there will just be sheer numbers, right, work out. So Maxpax is going to have to back away, but that is exactly what Maxpax wanted to have happen. A distraction somewhere, and then an opening somewhere else. He's going to continue trying to do that, which does mean he needs a strong economy. He needs to avoid the nukes. He needs to avoid any harassment, as he is, he's actually trading out quite a lot of army, quite expensive armies as well. so far getting some decent Disruptor shots, but Liberator is still reigning supreme.
Yeah, I love the Liberators on the far right base for Milkicow, because DTs aren't going to mess with that. And this army, like, I haven't seen any sort of transition beyond, like, just ground for Maxpax, right? Decentish splits for Milkicow, and he's got a bit of a supply lead here, but that squad of DTs, he has to be careful about it, but it does seem that he is on top of where it is, actually.
He's been tracking these DTs pretty well. I mean, the fast CD repair, and then Liberator to help out, and then he EMP'd him once, but the DT blink actually used on top of the army. The Stalkers blink past the Liberation zones. Oh my god, all the Liberators! They're completely vulnerable! The bio was responding to the DTs and the charge lots. All of the Liberators got taken out. He's got 4, but they're protecting bases. Oh my goodness. Oh. Nice move there from Maxpax, who gave away a lot of his own army to do so, but hopefully his economy carries him through.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't cheap, right? Definitely wasn't cheap. And Milkicow, even though he's got those nukes and he's got a few ready, I do believe, he's so under this pressure from Maxpax that it's hard to get anything going. And I guess that's what Maxpax is going for, right? Like, the best defense is good offense, even though it's very, very cliche.
It's what works a lot of the time for Protosses, but I'm worried these... they're not actually weak enough. Maxpax is not finding the weaknesses, at least long enough to actually take advantage. It seems like Milkicow, even when he is a little out of position or taking a somewhat bad fight or a Disruptor to the face, is just remaxing so easily. DTs in the main are, surprisingly annoying, a long way to go back and deal with them, but if the Liberator counts back up and it's already back up to 8, then you just set them up, and the Stalker's got to find that beautiful position once again to actually do some damage. Okay. So the Stalker's going to find this bio without the Liberators. Not really going to find an opening, though.
I'm just looking at the supply. Like, Milkicow has just been 200 supply, and he plays this so weird. He plays this like a Zerg playing Terran, Like, you're just trying to last until the late game to get somewhere, but what is it that you want to go for, Milkicow? Because right now, you're on 6 bases. Like, he managed to squeeze another base into the top right here amidst all of this. Like, but he hasn't really gone on the attack since, like, minute 8, pretty much.
I think he's really hoping that there's going to be a truly terrible fight for Maxpax, and then he can feel confident enough to go across the map. But as long as Maxpax is showing all these units, Milkicow doesn't feel comfortable moving out to it. He is going to lose the planetary despite his best attempts to save it with their repair. And that is a position that he might not actually get back anytime soon. If Maxpax is on it, he's going to get a cancel command center as well. It's going to be hard for Milkicow to get another expansion.
It certainly is. Maxpax just staying on this Stalker Disruptor comp with a lot of DTs just doing side damage. And as long as Maxpax doesn't take a truly bad fight, which some of these aren't trading the best for him, I don't know. I don't see Milkicow getting out of this situation. He just feels so almost kind of his own doing.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, there's that... The pacing was so well done when he was dropping and then transitioning into Liberators that would have been the strongest moment to actually try and make a push happen. But that's when Maxpax actually broke free and started to control the narrative, which he just hasn't let go of it, really. Even after a couple of fights and maybe a little low in the economy, he has really exploded on the map, taken all the bases, 88 workers. He can replace a lot of these losses. But if he doesn't get a surround here, if the Liberators get sieged up in a choke, then maybe the lacking Tempest could be his downfall. He just got a surround. The DTs came in, pushed away the bio. The Liberators couldn't say anything about it. And Milkicow, he takes a step out of the box and he gets punched. And he says, never again. I'm just going to stay at home. Never going to move out.
That's 7 DTs on the map. Like, if Fear Dragon didn't have a favorite player before this game, I'm sure he does now, because that is so many frickin' DTs. In fact, this is like the army that all Terrans don't want to play against. DTs, Disruptors, Stalkers, and a big blink from both sides. The blink flank, and Milkicow's supply is absolutely vanishing, and GG just like that.